Hello, Xylophoney here, and welcome to another episode of How to Pixelmon, your instructional Pixelmon guide. So today we're here to learn a little bit about breeding, which has been recently added in Pixelmon version 3.3.1, and it continues to update as we go. But we're going to go over some of the basics today so you guys can get started and learn how to start breeding your first Pokemon egg. Now obviously Pokemon do all hatch from eggs, doesn't matter if they're mammal or reptile or any of that. But when you get the egg, you run around, it hatches, you got yourself a little baby Pokemon. But let's see how that happens. Obviously, as you can probably expect, you take a male, as seen here, and a female Pokemon, put them together, and they make babies. But there's a lot more to it than just that. So first off, we're going to talk about egg groups. There are 15 different egg groups, including Ditto, and each of these egg groups have a certain set of Pokemon that they can breed within. Obviously, you can just breed, say, a Staraptor with a Staraptor, and it'll yield a Pokemon. You can breed a Staraptor with a Starly, it'll yield another Starly. And it can go on like that, but you can also mix and mingle with the egg groups. For example, Staraptor and Arkin are both in the flying egg group. So if I wanted to, I could breed these two together. Well, not these particular two, because they're both male, but you get the idea. If this one was a female and this one was a male, they breed together, it would yield a baby Arkin. So that's a really fun thing if you are trying to get some fossils. If you have a female fossil, you can breed and get plenty of them. As you can see over there, I have quite a few Aerodactyls and Arkins breeding, so that is definitely exciting to have. But the thing about Arkin is it's in 2 egg groups, and there are many other Pokemon like it that have 2 separate egg groups that they can yield into. So he is in the flying and the water 3 egg group. Now Cranidos also happens to be in that water 3, which is pretty much just the fossil egg group. So these two could breed together, and it would be pretty fun. But you can't breed Staraptor and Cranidos because, well, they're in 2 completely different egg groups. It gets pretty complicated when you want to breed Pokemon in different egg groups and stuff, but I'll leave down links down below where you can go look that up. The Pixelmon wiki is actually very helpful about this. After this video, I suggest all of you to go and definitely check that out. But also, there's of course the Ditto egg group, which Ditto is a Pokemon, of course. It gets the egg group all to itself. But the whole thing about Ditto is it has the ability to mate with any Pokemon, male or female. Now, before we start any of the jokes here, it's actually very, very useful. Not only because you can, get another Pokemon bred very easily, but because say you don't have a female Pokemon but you need one, you can go ahead breed Ditto with the male Pokemon and it'll keep popping out eggs until one of them is hopefully female. So that's what I did for this particular Cranidos. And you can also do it with Pokemon with no genders. So my Ditto can say breed with a Metagross, which Metagross normally would have no ability to breed. Pokemon with no genders cannot breed without a Ditto. So that's just a little bit of fun. But that's all that. Now we're going to go into some of the stuff that's very specific to Minecraft, which is the ranch blocks and the environment blocks. So we're going to take a little bit of a field trip over to this side and go over some of this stuff. So as you can see, when you put the ranch block down, it has this little area that goes out by 4 in every direction, so it creates a whole block size of 9 by 9. I have it separated by stone here, and all these blocks here are netherrack. Now the reason it's netherrack is because the Pokemon need a specific environment to breed. Now this has nothing to do with if it's raining, the time of day, or even the biome you're in. It's literally just what blocks are in this 9 by 9 space. Now netherrack helps fire Pokemon breed. It's all about the typing. So for all the fire Pokemon I have out here, they have netherrack around them. Now these items help flying Pokemon breed, the dispensers and the glass. And of course wool helps normal type breed. So as you can see, my breeding expeditions are quite extensive over here. But that's pretty much what you need for the environment. Now every different type has multiple different blocks that you can use. Like for fire types you can use lit fire, you can use lava, but netherrack is pretty much the easiest to work with, but fire is actually a bit more effective. So once again, links to the Pixelmon wiki are down below. If you're going to do any breeding, I suggest looking up the environment the Pokemon you're breeding needs before setting it up, because if you have a flying type, you're going to want to have a flying type setup, and so on. The reason you want to have the best environment you can because the better the environment they're in, the faster they can actually breed. So if I were to set this one up with all dispensers, then these Pokemon would be able to breed a little bit faster. But, you know, dispensers are a little annoying to make, so that's what that is. So it really just comes down to what's easiest for you, because when it comes down to it, you can actually have Pokemon capable of breeding an egg in 37.5 minutes, which, judging by a standard reproductive cycle, seems very, very quickly. So it's very good to have the proper environment. Now, also you can see that these ones are dual types, such as Aerodactyl, Arcan, and Sigilyph here. They're all 2-type Pokemon, and for breeding 2-type Pokemon, it actually gets a little more difficult, because pretty much the environment value is halved. So, for every 2 the glass gives, there's a whole value, once again, links to the wiki to see the separate values, but for all the glass, it will only give 1, and for the dispensers, it'll only give 1.5. Because dual types, you know, want to get both of the types of things in them, but it just makes it very difficult to breed with them. So pretty much when you're setting up a station with dual type Pokemon, it's going to take longer. But overall, it still works out as long as you have a good setup. The setup is very critical to having everything work out just fine. Now this little flower in the middle is pretty much the whole thing that makes breeding happen. It is a ranch block. Now we can quickly look some of this up. Hold on, there we go. Ranch block. Now it's actually a pretty simple setup. Once you have a PC made, you can just put a flower pot on top of it and a piston below. And it's kind of obvious how it all works. You got the PC there, flower on top, and piston. So that's all you need to make the ranch block, and then you just need the blocks to set up around it. Once again, every different type needs a different environment, so make sure to check that out before you start breeding the Pokemon so you can get the fastest breed possible. And then you will actually be able to get some Pokemon. Put a male and a female into one of these. There you go, you should be getting an egg relatively soon. Now the final thing we're going to talk about is what happens when you breed, which is traits, and a lot of things carry over. Some of those are the IVs of it, the nature, the Pokeball, and the sizes. Now, IVs, of course, is values that are part of the Pokemon that you can't change through any training. They're just set in stone there. When people try to make a very competitive team, they try to use breeding to get the best IVs possible, and have 31 maxed out on everything. If you're just beginning breeding, I wouldn't suggest doing that. We'll actually do another episode about that in the future, so just stay tuned for that. But other things that can carry over is the nature, the Pokeball, and the sizes. Now sizes, obviously, if you put in 2 small Pokemon, chances are you'll get a smaller Pokemon. Put in 2 larger Pokemon, chances are you'll get a larger Pokemon. But if you put in 2 pygmy Pokemon, you have a chance at getting a new size actually called microscopic. And if you put in 2 enormous Pokemon, you can get a ginormous Pokemon. So there's new sizes available through breeding. So if you do want to get your ginormous Wailord or your pygmy whatever Joltik just to have some fun with it, I would definitely suggest trying some of that out through breeding. Now the Pokeball, that just carries on through the mother's Pokeball, so if you want to keep breeding stuff, make sure to catch it in a Pokeball you want it to stay in. And of course the nature, this Pokemon here has a jolly nature. Now if I wanted the nature to carry over through the breed guaranteed, I can put a Everstone on it and the nature will carry over. Stats and traits definitely carry over due to the items you have on the Pokemon a lot of times. Now, the Everstone is definitely one of the key ones to get the nature to pass over, but you can also pass over certain stats with the Power Weight, Power Anklet, Power Bracer, and Destiny Knot. We'll go more over that in the episode where we go more into the IV breeding. But that's pretty much everything you need to know. Put a male and a female from the same egg group together, or anything with a ditto, and make sure it's in the proper environment with a ranch block in the middle to put them in, and see what kind of traits you can get from it. And then overall you'll get an egg. Hopefully it'll be a good one, and you'll be able to continue breeding from there. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this little bit of a explanation tutorial. So if you have enjoyed it, definitely let me know. Let me know if you need to know anything else about Pixelmon, and I'll be sure to see if I can help you find out. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.